So there's a sheriff over here. If he is not too busy, I'm gonna have him take my cup. Daddy went the other way. I think he had to go to the bathroom. But these sheriffs aren't busy with anything too terribly important. I give him my cup. Hello, sir. I got a question for you. Somebody gave me a soda pop. It tastes extremely like chemicals. I spat out. I did ingest a little bit of it, but I spat it out. I'm pretty sure there's drugs in it. Somebody gave it to the kindness of their heart. Is there any way you can test it? All right. So I gotta just system. Yeah, they can't do anything at the hospital. So I mean, really, if I got drugs in my system, I just gotta wait it out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much. Yep. So apparently, let me talk about the funny taste of the Pepsi here. Here's the Pepsi. He said he can't do nothing about it. He can't test it. So basically, if
It's probably not the real. That's what's pissing me off sometimes. They won't freaking carry. They say, well, they didn't give it to us.
well, lucky for me, I know it would not taste like it does if it was acid.
See, I keep telling people I don't care about that shit.
But if it was, and I went up to that guy, what happens if what they gave me makes me trip the fuck out, and in 30 minutes I'm walking around in the middle of the freeway with my pants around my ankles?
But like, they won't admit that I'm a fucking judge here in this county, fucking pricks. Won't admit that fucking another circuit court judge is either.
So I'm gonna pour this out since they won't test it.
Dude, that they'll fucking listen to anyone, but fucking.
Oh my god, dude. It doesn't even smell right. I mean, it smells like Dr. Pepper, but it's... Oh great, I tried pouring it on the grass and now it's going all over the bricks. That's intelligent. I feel like the smartest man alive. Alright, well.
I don't know who that is, so I don't know.
So a reporter once asked Albert Einstein what it was like to be the smartest man alive.
I asked one of them the other day.
He said you'll have to ask Nikolai
There's a
Tesla.
real sheriff or not because it doesn't say deputy. He goes, look, I'm a sheriff. I have my name there. I said, yeah, but it just says sheriff.
Right.
What's up with the internet? I get it. I don't know it either, but everyone.
They also put their name tags when they're talking to Brad. When they come and talk to us, when there's a situation, they like to put their hands over their name tag so you can't see it.
Is what I mean. You know what I mean?
Well, they're not all claiming to be the sheriff. Most of them are deputies of the sheriff.
I know.
So you just think that they should be designated.
I mean, I know who they are because I can tell by looking at them. You know who they are.
Ben, you know. No, I don't. So I can't tell if he's a deputy or a sheriff.
I know. Right. It's not their fault, but they can't really just keep on cruising without being deputy shit. And fucking, come on, it's got to be harder than that to just slap the paint on. I get that too, okay? But they can't tell people I'm sheriff. That's what the guy told me to do. Then sheriff. You're not the elected sheriff, though, right? So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how hard it is to get it. It's real hard. I don't know how to help it either. You should see front, back, and still have your name too. It just is people are
right. Like most most
gotta
of them
say
in
that.
America, it does say deputy instead of sheriff.
So
It'll have their
listen,
badge that says sheriff's
You know what I mean?
department, but when it says deputy, they know it's the sheriff's department.
jurisdictional judgment.
About the law, I looked it up, and you're right about it, but it's different than what you're saying.
What's that?
The laws about property ownership and basically where Oregon, every business in Oregon is owned by, basically a portion of it is owned by Oregonians. Money has to be made and a certain percentage, and all that was written way back in the 1800s.
But you can own your own business. You can own your own property and your own business, right?
Yes.
So that just is that you get taxed some by the state of Oregon, right? The income tax. So it's not really outrageous. I mean, it's not too outrageous to own a business, right? So go on business or whatever. But no, not just in Oregon too.
Well, the percentage here, they did. I mean, it wasn't.
Right? So I mean,
It wasn't a
you work-
shareholder thing back then, though. It was a matter of businesses within a community have a responsibility to the community, especially when, back then, if you owned a mercantile and everybody spent their money at your mercantile, and you spent all your money getting fancy stuff from New York, well, then all the money in town has gone to fancy stuff from New York, and none of it comes back to the community.
Well, yeah, you can't.
And then the
own
mercantile
it all,
closed.
You know what I mean? You can't own the whole every business in this town. You know what I mean? I get that too, but see, you can own too much like I do. I fucking get fucked every day.
It makes me uncomfortable that, all right, if a woman has a roofie slipped into her drink at a bar and she goes to the cops, they might do something
They won't
about
tell
it.
them to go ahead and give me.
But if a
money
homeless
out of my
person
bank
is
account,
given drugs,
they'll tell me, quit going in there and harassing me. We told you to quit it. What? Trying to get money, man? To go eat food? Like, hello. Not just a big drug addict, freaking alcoholic, or anything.
I've never
I will
seen you
not use
drink.
that. I'll drink some, man. If I want to, I guess people just give me those little beers and stuff.
They try to give those to me. I turn
I'll
down
go buy
everything
it.
that's
Sometimes
pot.
do like one can at a time. Like after that, I'm done. Like one of the bigger ones, you know what I mean? One tall boy, I'll just drink one of those. Oh, I sometimes might drink 2 or 3, but
That guy last night, he had-
too drunk, and then they start pissing me off because it's not good, and then he starts harassing me about it. I mean, I'm just gonna.
Well,
go
the
lay
other thing
down.
is it's legal to drink. It's not like you're breaking the law by doing so. If you're a good spot, it's in the shade. This is one of my favorite spots here. I like to watch the boats go by. Oh, that guy just biffed it. I've never actually been out there. Have you been on the sandbar?
Yeah.
Do people lose their sails and stuff out there often? Because it might be worth it to go down the creek and try to find some.
Maybe, I don't know.
Some of those, what do they call them? The ab boards? It wouldn't be too difficult to get a remote control for one if somebody lost one, Probably be a lot cheaper than buying a brand new unit. And if we find one that's down there, we could probably salvage it and make a few dollars. It's alright if I get a short bit of video on your leg. I want to show that grodiness on my YouTube channel. Is that alright? If I just take a quick video of your scar there. Alright, there's from putting his leg through that window. He was gonna, I'm sure you guys have seen the video where all that blood was. I called it, what was it, Daniel's koi, because it looked like from all the blood coming off of his feet when he was walking, it looked like somebody painted a bunch of little Japanese koi fish. So I got that here on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook. I actually went around his route. Like, it's surprising he didn't bleed to death. and you guys got to see, like, when they were hosing down all the blood and everything, that blood was about 15 feet away from his body before they started hosing it off. He was bleeding bad. Anyway, as far as what it looks like now, it's looking better than it was, but it's looking pretty bad. So he and I were discussing yesterday about having to keep the stuff on top cleaned off so it'd be easy to take out the stitches. He's thinking about taking out the stitches himself. He just needs the tools. I don't actually have the tools for him to do that. I don't know where my forceps are, but they're not actually necessary as long as he can use the creative use of the tweezers. But like I said, out here it can easily become an infection. We're not exactly treated like people by most of the doctors here. I mean, they give us substandard care, just enough to get us out the door, and then we're on our own. With me having surgery on my backside about, 3 weeks ago? The day that happened, that was literally the day I had surgery on my backside. So I was walking around hobbling, following your footsteps all the way down there, almost to the bridge, all the way back to the Astro station. I even got, you guys can see the shoes that he's wearing. Those are also in the video. Because you remember at the very beginning, there was just one of those Oregon Duck shoes, or slippers, because the other one went actually into the house, or into the business. So later on, when I'm showing it, and the guy's out there sweeping it up, he threw the second slipper out there onto the sidewalk, and of course Daniel was able to go back and retrieve him when he got out of the hospital. But yeah, he's been good to me. He's different. I'm different. There's a lot of people out here who are different. Like he talks about, he doesn't touch meth. He doesn't mess with that shit. I don't mess with that shit. It's something that makes most of us out here uncomfortable. But we also have a lot of those people who are dumped off on us. And also, like Daniel was saying about only drinking one tall boy, you know. I mean, he controls his shit. I'm sure that he's seen enough people go mental, same as me, that, you know to stay away from those chemicals. Especially out here, we're all at-risk adults, all of us. You know, we may have rights, but that doesn't mean that they're observed. Now, for him not bleeding to death, that's definitely a plus, and that was definitely the motivating factor in me calling the cops. And obviously, I've been honest with him about it. He's well aware of it. He still talks to me. He still understands that it wasn't me trying to get him in trouble thing. It was a matter of him not bleeding to death. So, I want to thank all of you guys who've shown at least some support for the situation, and I also want to thank you guys for, at least looking. Whether you do anything about it or not, at least you look. And that's more than most people do. Also, Daniel, thank you very much for being good to me. Like I said, not everybody out here is perfect. I don't have any perfect heroes. None of them. I got heroes who are schizophrenic. I got heroes who are delusional. I got heroes who are straight. I got heroes who are gay. I got heroes who are black. I got heroes who are white. I got heroes who are men and women. I got heroes of all sorts. Whether or not you choose to do the right thing when it comes down to it, that is what makes you a hero or a coward. If you choose to take part in the villainy, that would make you a villain. I understand a lot of people didn't come forward and didn't want to tell the truth because they didn't want to lose friends. Well, you know what? If those are the kind of friends you don't want to lose, you're not the kind of friend that I need. You're not the kind of friend that I'm after. Because you're not a friend. Loyalty above all else except honor. And I'm fine with being loyal, but if you're not loyal to me, why would I be loyal to you? Also, when it comes to human lives, if you're expecting loyalty out of me when the potential for you expecting loyalty out of me instead of doing the right thing is my loved ones being killed, threatened, harassed, intimidated, assaulted, you're not my friend. You're not doing friendly things. You're not being a friend. You're being selfish, and you're not thinking about me or my loved ones. Now, Daniel here, he's got his own things going on, and sometimes he internalizes quite a bit. A lot of us do. Now, him internalizing doesn't mean that he's not trying to help. It doesn't mean that he's not trying to help himself. It doesn't mean that he's not trying to help others. It means that he's having a trauma response and he needs to work through it. The way that you guys treat him for that is not okay. Now, I tried explaining to the police chief here, as well as the sheriff's department, that there was a safety risk with Dan because people wanted to assault him because he's different. Yeah, I get that he's different, but he's not running around threatening to kill these people. When he does vent, he's just venting. And after what these people have done to him, it's not okay. For them to threaten to assault him and outright assault him on more than one occasion over being different, no, that is not acceptable. It's not okay for them to do it to him. It's not okay for them to do it to me. And it's definitely something that disturbs me greatly. Like I said, I did call the cops on him. I didn't call the cops to get the cops there. I called 911 so that we could get an ambulance there. And we were able to get an ambulance there. We were able to get it recorded. It is over at the Astro. The trail that he walked, I also did that. I wasn't able to walk up the stairs over by the brewery, but I was able to show that he went up the stairs. I was able to show you the little statuettes of the salmon that are in the walkway up there and how his Japanese red koi fish crossed and intersected that little part of it's a beautification project. Most towns with rich people, especially rich tourism, really want to push. They want pretty monuments and pretty statuettes and pretty things of that nature that they can show off their prestige and their wealth. Meanwhile, a lot of those public works are actually built by slave labor from the homeless who got a ticket for, what happens when your college kid gets in trouble for drinking in public? Mommy and daddy try to help him out, and they probably drop the charges as usual. When it happens to a homeless person, you don't even have to be drunk. They'll just pretend that you were. Anyway, we've gotten to see and hear a lot of different stuff out of Dan. You've gotten to see that he has not gotten physically violent with anybody in front of us. We've gotten to see a couple of people who are afraid of him, like the day that he was walking around with the blanket. And, the way that they were speaking about him and the things that they were talking about doing to him, those aren't things that we want happening to people. And then they want to use the he's crazy excuse. You know what? Whether he's crazy or not, that's not okay. Matter of fact, if he is crazy, it's even more wrong to do those things. So if these guys want to use him being crazy or not being crazy as their excuse to, physically harm him, that is something the sheriff's department needs to pay attention to. Now, immediately after the police chief here told me that he'd gone down and talked to the homeless people already that morning and that he was sure that they weren't going to do anything to Daniel, what happened? We went down there and we talked specifically to 3 of those different camps. 2 specifically the people the police chief said that he went down and talked to. And we asked about the situation with Daniel, didn't we? And those people said the sheriff didn't ask him anything or talk anything about Daniel to them. And all of them did speak up about the fact that Daniel is unsafe here, that people do want to beat him up for being different because they don't understand him, because there's stuff about him that they don't want to believe. Well, whether you believe it or not doesn't make it okay to assault him. It doesn't make it okay to threaten him. It doesn't make it okay to force him to move along. He is still a human being. And just like the rest of us, you want to march him off into the sea by telling him there's no place for you here, you need to move on. I want you guys to recognize Daniel as a human being, instead of using this mentally ill tag, because here in the United States, the DSM-5, 509 different diagnoses in the DSM-5. You guys want to say mentally ill. All 509 of those diagnoses, not a single one of them is mentally ill. And we like to blanket mentally ill people as if they're all schizophrenic and delusional. Well, guess what? Even the ones who are schizophrenic and delusional are still people. And they don't deserve to be abused and punished for something that is not their fault. They didn't choose it. It's also not okay for you to blanket every other homeless every other homeless person under the auspices of them being a mentally ill and dangerous person, a schizophrenic and delusional asshole who's going to harm you. Anyway, I had a different mission in mind when I came here to sit down, and it wasn't to talk 400 miles an hour. I started this video to try to turn in a container full of potential meth to an officer who, what'd he do? Blew me off. Now, if they take me to the hospital and they find meth in my system, what are they going to say then? Oh, well, he's using meth, not intentionally. Now, that's the thing with Spencer Crawford in Boulder, Colorado, and his best friend Angus. You know why Angus got stabbed in the chest? Because him and Spencer Crawford were ninja dosed. Somebody thought that slipping some acid to them when they wasn't paying attention, kind of like roofing a girl in a bar that you're planning on taking home and raping. Sure, you might think it's all fun and games, but it's not all fun and games for your victims. Spencer Crawford, because he was having a drug-induced psychosis, thought his best friend Angus was trying to kill him. What did Spencer Crawford do? He put a knife right into his best friend's chest, right into his heart. Spencer Crawford would be in prison to this day if it weren't for Angus's parents and them showing a different kind of Christianity. Them showing that they love. Yeah, they do love Spencer. They knew him for years. They've also had their experiences with drugs. They knew it wasn't something that Spencer wanted to do and that it was drug-induced. But unlike many of these other people who do drugs and then go kill somebody, Spencer didn't do it to himself. I talked to the lady in the Shell station about the two gentlemen who brought me that Dr. Pepper with meth in it. I'm pretty sure it's meth. And, well, she said she wouldn't have drank it to begin with because she's aware of part of the situation here with the homeless and the threats and the harassment and even a couple of attempted assaults. But because it was two boys that I had an issue with just a few days ago, she didn't think it was smart of me to even try to take a swig. The thing is, it's been hot all day. Hot. Me and Daniel last time, some young lady and her daughter gave me $4. I was able to split it, 2 with me, 2 for Danny. That way we can both get something to drink. I'm going to try to go over to Starbucks so I can get the stuff off my audio recording device. That way I can use it for clandestine recording when we've got abuse going on. Good to be radio. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Oh yeah, and say thank you to Daniel for helping us out. Thank you, Daniel, for helping us out.